right, well, let's get started because we do have a lot of little things to get through today. I did finally fix the internet issues.
Yay!
Yeah! All right, so today let's talk quickly about Kanban. Hopefully, most of y'all, if Firefox comes back, there it is, have access to Scrumdo. If not, please email me your username, and I think one of y'all, I need to talk to y'all afterwards about actually getting on. For some reason, something's not working. So we'll go and talk about that after class. But it should look something similar to this, and you go over to your workspaces. Now, under workspaces, you should only have your workspace and not other students. If you have access to other students' workspaces, please tell me, because that's going to be bad. But you should have your name, and I have created a computer architecture one. I've clicked on it, and it's going to, mine will come up something like this. So the idea is that your Kanban or Scrumdo board, you want it to have it look like the computer architecture board. Now, the main thing that needs to look similar is when you go to, you probably have iteration 1, and you want to change that to gate 1, and the time is, let's see, 1301 to this date. Oh, by the way, do y'all have access to the computer architecture Kanban board, or only your username?
Only username.
Oh, okay. Well, we will need to fix that. Because you need to have access to the architecture one so you can at least see what's going on. So I'm going to talk a little bit. When you go into your gates or your iteration, it should have different what are called swim lanes. So one right here is called all your base, and that one's I'm going to use for work that's kind of in general or getting set up. And you can, and you'll notice in all your base you have to do, what you should be what you need to do, work in progress, what you're hopefully working on, and you'll tell me by moving a card from one to another. By the way, let's see if I can get an example going here. Let's see, list. Nope, sure, by label, or not. Nope, not by label, but list. By number. There we go. So I could have a card over here. This one, by the way, is set up your environment, create a VM of Ubuntu, install Verilog, and then give me a screenshot. So the idea is that the task or your assignment is going to be inside of a card like this. You will fill it out, and notice over here you can add an attachment. So you can click attach file and actually attach a screenshot. Once you obviously, you want to move it over to working in progress when you're working on it. And then the idea is that once you're done with it, you can move it over to for review, click the little edit button, and put the assignee to myself, Professor West. Don't put it to this other guy. He doesn't do anything. He's a lazy bum. So only do it to Professor West, or yeah, otherwise nothing is going to happen. Now, the reason for that is once you click Professor West, you click Save Card, and it's in for review. It will send me a notification telling me that you're ready for me to grade this assignment. I'm going to go in, and I will review it, and I can say, for example, here, I'll be like, well, I already wrote it here, but I could say, hey, look, at Paul the West, you know, the other person, you need to upload a screenshot. And when I do that, I can click send it back, and I will go over here, assign it to this other guy. When I click save, notice it put it back work in progress, and I have basically taken your assignment and bounced it back to you saying, hey, look, you still need to do this. And that way you can go back in, finish it up, and then hopefully we'll just say, for sake of argument, you might go in here and say at, for example, if you want to say something to me, you do at, you know, Professor West, and say, sorry, here is the screenshot. Of course, you do the attachment. You can click up here to move it, and it goes back to set up your environment. Now, I forgot to assign it to Professor West. If you don't assign it to me, I'm not going to see it, so make sure you sign it back to me. Otherwise, chances are I'll never grade it, and then you won't get a grade.
Spent a long time wondering why it hasn't graded.
Why you haven't graded anything. That's why. All right. Lastly, very important, when I go in I will grade it, and if everything's good, I'll move it to graded, and that means you got credit for that assignment. All right, very important. There's now, you can receive partial credit, and the way that's done is when we edit the card, which I can't really see. You'll notice that there's a point value. Each card is assigned a point. This is a 1-point card. So keep in mind that your grade is not 0 to 100. It's how many points per each card. And so if you get all points, I'll edit that to be, I'll leave it alone as full points. Otherwise, I may deduct a couple. Now, make sure you never move anything into graded, because when I do my check at the end of the year, it tells me who has moved cards into graded. And if I see your name popping up, we're going to have some problems, okay? Do not move anything to graded, only let me move things into graded. I was trying to see if Scrumdo could stop students from moving it to graded, but it can't. So make sure you only let me move it to graded, otherwise we'll have a lot of issues at the end of the semester and you probably will get points deduced. But once it's over here, and I've moved over there, you know that I've graded it, I've given you, assessed the number of points. In general, from experience, because these cards are gated, namely everything in gate 1, you have from 13th of January to the 11th of February. Most of the time, in that time, I go and I try and give you feedback ASAP, and then of course at the end of the gate, I'm just going to move things over and give you partial credit. That's in general how this works. Again, second off, don't just send things to be graded until you've actually done your work. If you do that too many times, I'm just going to give you 0 points and move it to graded. So just be careful there. All right, let's see. Ooh. All right. Now that I've showcased Scrumdo real quick, I do want to at least take a step back and talk about what we're utilizing here so you have an idea when you go and people start talking about Scrum or Kanban, what it is they're talking about. What we're implementing here is more of a Kanban board, and so I want to talk about where Kanban at least came from so you have an idea. Let's see, what's Kanban and how does it apply to software development? That's totally what we're going to talk about. Kanban, hey look, there's kanjis. Basically, it was developed by Toyota in order to improve the efficiency of the workers using or creating their cars, as well as the accuracy. Good morning. So the idea is that the worker would come up with a, they'd put up maybe a story queue or something up here saying, we're gonna need this many parts in about a week because we're running low. And then the next person can go, okay, I put the order in, and the idea is it flows along this board until done, and hopefully if everyone does their job, they can get the parts in at the exact correct time. And this was highly advantageous to a car manufacturer because, well, one, they're always doing work, but two, they no longer have to store giant warehouses of parts, which consume a lot of space and cost a lot of money. So now, so now Toyota was able to be more efficient. But how does this apply to software development? Let's see. So we talked about Kanban here. 5 volunteers, all right. So why are we using it for software development? We're not manufacturing aircraft or cars. Well, it turns out, there are a lot of problems that come up in software development. As you'll find out in the workforce, they will always ask you for something new to do, even when they told you to work on something else. So this at least gives you an idea of, or a way to tell your management, hey look, you told me this here, yes, we're working on it. We got some other priorities we're working on right now, but we're keeping track of it. They at least understand what a Kanban board looks like. They have no idea what your code is because it looks like gibberish to them. So this is a very good way to give feedback to your manager. It's also a way to help with the quality of requirements, because if you have the board, you can say, hey look, this is higher priority, this is lower priority. You can sit down and see what needs to happen next. It's also a better way, let's see. Let's keep going. That's way too much work. Often continues through a cycle while testing starts late, never seems to happen. Yeah, another very helpful point of Kanban, if you noticed up here, you had to do, work in progress, for review. For review is when you usually send it and someone else goes in and tests your code to make sure it works. And that's very important. Welcome. Because it helps ensure that your code has a certain level of quality. Now when you go out and work, this for review section will probably have multiple steps as it goes through many different, thank you Sam, different steps in order to ensure your code has enough quality. But this is also a way to give feedback at what point in time you're testing your code, or the level of quality. And if it hasn't been clear to you yet, if you don't test to the very end, as this picture demonstrates, things blow up, planes crash, your Mac 737s are now all grounded as they have been. How many months has it been now? A lot. A lot. So yeah, that's bad. So this is something that at least help. Drops time, yeah, in favor of focus on continuous flow. All right, that's more talking about Scrumdo, or Scrum, I'm sorry. And we talked about the board because I defined it in Scrumdo, and I think that was pretty clear, straightforward. We did layout. I don't think there's much more I need to talk about here. I need to clean up these slides. Wow. Hey, pictures of different Kanban boards. I love how they're all Post-it notes. Yeah, that's great. Oh man, look at all that. Wow. All right. But we're going to use Scrumdo instead. Okay. Does everyone have a high-level view about how Scrum or Kanban works? I'm going to go a little more details on how we're going to connect it in the class. But you have a high-level view about how Kanban works and how we're going to do grading. Again, your final grade is number of points number of points you earned divided by the number of points you could earn. That's your grade. All right.